1079 CDY. This is Cadillac Unscripted. Happy Saturday morning, everybody. We made our mission to talk about good and positive things and difference makers in our community. And we have the Queen Bee with us this morning. We have Doreen Lanc. She is the Executive Director of the Cadillac Area Community Foundation. Welcome, Doreen.
Good morning, Katy. How are you?
I'm doing great now.
Great.
So I always say when we talk to you that you don't really need to be asked questions because you're overflowing with information. So can we start with an update on what's going on at the foundation?
Yes, I actually have something very exciting. I've been thinking about this for 2 or 3 years, and it happened because of a doctor retiring, but we started a men's giving group.
Oh, wonderful, because your women's giving group is a powerhouse.
Yep, and it's been there since 2009, and now we have a men's giving circle, and we have like 36 men in it already.
Oh, my goodness gracious. That's wonderful. Okay, so do we get to ask who retired and who started it?
Well, Dr. Lamborn retired, and somebody asked him, what are you going to do? And he says, I don't know. And he said that kind of bothered him, that he didn't know what he was going to do.
Well, and if you know Greg Lamborn.
He's got to be busy.
He's a busy bear, and he's been the family practice doc to the stars, for what? 40 years?
Oh, many years. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
So he's so excited, and he talked to all these people. And I told him, now don't be disappointed. Mm-hmm. You're only going to get 30%.
And I think
he's over 30%. He's doing really good.
Have you ever said no to Greg Lamborn?
No.
Not a good idea.
No.
Yeah. No, I don't think anyone says no to Greg Lamborn, including
he's
his
very
patients.
excited about it.
Good. Okay, so what's on their agenda? What are their hot buttons?
It is going to be the needs of men and boys, the unmet needs.
Okay.
And there is some out there. There's a lot of them. I mean, we gave a grant to the YMCA last year before school started. These kids were starting school with flip-flops on. And that's what they were going to wear all year.
Oh, no.
So we provided shoes to make sure they had new shoes to go to school. So I think he's going to see a lot of grants that have to do with shoes, maybe clothing, maybe it's driver's license. Mm-hmm. A lot of young men cannot afford to get their driver's license because of the driver's training.
Okay. Swear, I just had this conversation with my hairstylist this week. She was explaining it is $450. And to that note, she asked her son to cough up some of the money too. Wasn't that smart?
Yes.
Skin in the game. But yeah, I mean, we forget how expensive it is, Doreen, just to live.
It is. It's very expensive. And the teens, gas, putting gas in their vehicles right now. Mm-hmm. It used to be the day that, $5 would fill up a tank when I was that,
Right.
Now, yesterday I filled up my tank. It was $72 and it wasn't on empty. Imagine these people that are making like $10 an hour.
Well, and this is when your nonprofit is really going to be coming through for people. I just don't think folks who has been able to recalibrate to the cost of fuel,
yes,
and of food.
Groceries, yes, outrageous.
Right. And remember being a high schooler, wasn't that your number one worry, gas money?
Yes. It's like, and you could go to, I could go put $2 in the tank and drive all week.
Exactly. So, okay, the men's giving group, 36 men, they've already come together, they've already met?
They haven't met yet. All the applications are in, so they meet in April, they'll discuss them, and then they'll decide what they're going to grant out to. So I think it's going to be really exciting. It's all men, they're going to meet at the country club, and I'm hoping I get to go and listen to them.
I was just going to say, do you get invited?
I hope so. I got to talk to, Dr. Lamborn about that.
Okay, so question. If it's a men's giving group, okay, all guys, Does each guy have to step up with X amount of cash to be part of the club, if it were?
Yes, it is $500 a year. 10% of it goes into an endowment fund, so they can, get that fund really big, and it can take care of itself someday.
Right.
But some of the men sent in $1,000. They wanted to do $1,000, and then we had a couple men that had passed away, and people sent gifts to the endowment. In their memory.
Honor.
Yes.
Oh my. And, I think Greg has done so many wonderful things for so many people that, if I were a guy and Greg asked me, I think whatever he's doing, I want to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I think so,
too. Aura of goodness about it.
Yeah.
Is it scholarship season?
Oh my gosh, it is scholarship. And I need to tell these parents out there the scholarships are due April 15th.
Oh, boy.
Get after those kids. We don't have very many sitting on the desk yet.
So it corresponds with tax day, huh?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, we have scholarships and grant season, and then the women's giving circle and the men's giving circle all happens at once.
Oh my goodness. So you are really a busy lady right now.
Yeah, it's very busy right now. And then we're looking at, updating our website and new computers and renovations in the office. And, there's a lot going on. I hope to have it all done by June 30th.
Okay. Why is that a magical date?
Well, it's just that way I can enjoy the rest of the summer and not have to worry about it. Mm-hmm. But I think that, we need to warm it up in the office a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, when you're sitting there with a family that just lost their son or their daughter, a car accident, who knows, you just want to make them feel warm and wrap around them. So we're going to do some upgrades.
Awesome. That's wonderful. How many scholarships do you offer, and how much money do you think you'll give away to students in 2022?
Last year, we gave about $82,000 away in scholarships. So, and we usually get about 100 applications. So we have a lot of applications to come in yet, but kids always wait till the last minute.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know it. Well, I smile because just recently someone came to me with a community need and asked, where they should go with it. I was like, call Doreen. And they said, well, I thought Doreen ran the community foundation. I said, she does. But that's just always the answer when you have a community need, call Doreen. And if she doesn't have the venue for it, she'll put you on to the right person or the right agency to help.
Right. We had the Paul McMullen Scholarship coming up. That's a new one for the Wexford ISD School District. That's really exciting. Wow. So if you're a runner. But yeah, I think people come in and they just need ideas. It's not that they're going to sign the paper that day, and I don't expect that, but I want to share what we can do. Being charitable is very passionate to people, and they need to talk about it, think about it, and make sure they're doing all the right things with it.
Right. And they can tell you, these are donor-advised funds if that's what they want, right?
Yes.
So can you explain what that means to our listeners?
Yes, we have donor-advised funds that the endowment each year, 5% goes over into available amount of money that you can donate or grant out to nonprofits. Or you can do a non-endowed, which any of the money that you put in, tax-free, you can grant out to organizations that need help.
Very good. And don't you think that you're a good conduit for what if I don't know what needs are out there, but I want to help? Some of these folks of affluence have been busy working their whole lives, and maybe they're not aware of needs. Can you tell us how that process looks?
Yes, I go to about, 9, 10 meetings a month. And this is where I hear the need out there from health issues or food or shelter or, your homeless people. We hear everything at these meetings. Could be early childhood or childcare, housing. So we get together and talk about these, and that way I have all this information. So when someone calls me and has money, I want to do something special in the community, I have lots of resources for them.
Do you keep a running list?
I do. Okay. I keep a running list mainly for the women's giving circle and the men's giving circle because they can reach out to these organizations. Or if somebody comes in, we do have donors that are non-endowed donors, and they're like, Doreen, if you know something that's going around in this community they need help with, please call me.
Okay. Now, what if there's someone out there with a need? I don't want to blow up your phones, but you really do talk to lots of people every single day about needs. Can you discuss some of those calls that you get?
Yes. I had a gentleman a couple weeks ago. He wasn't a veteran, and we do have an emergency fund for veterans. And he actually made too much money to get help from any kind of social services, 211. But we reached out because we have resources of different things, and he needed a contractor to put a ramp on his house. So
a wheelchair ramp.
Yes.
Okay.
And I told him, I said, I have no resources to pay for this, but you should be able to pay for this. But I do have resources for contractors to do this ASAP. So he was
Really?
really pleased with that. I mean, he wasn't low income. It was just that when he was calling people, no one was willing to help them. So
So there's
we
a
made that
vetting
happen.
process where they
Yes.
say, okay, how much money do you make? And then you don't fit into that threshold
Right.
type thing.
And he
Okay.
didn't fit into any of them. I called every resource because he was in Autumnwood at the time, and it was really complicated for him to find the numbers and talk to him, tell him the situation. So I did all the backup work for him.
Right. Your youth advisory committee, affectionately referred to as YAC.
Yes.
You've got some teenagers that you're running. Can you tell us what that group's up to?
Oh, yes. The kids actually have some money to grant out this year. They just haven't a lot, but they did approve $25,000 for our new football field turf.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
So they're going to take $10,000 from this year and $15,000 from next year, and they're really excited about it. And they have grants that come in front of them to do with, children up to 12th grade. And, it could be reading, it could be book club, it could be a new club that started at school that they need supplies for. They've done a lot with the robotics class. So they love this. And, they sit down and they hash it out. And there might be a couple of the students that's like, no, we don't need to do that. But then they talk themselves into it. And they're very, very good at what they do.
So they persuade their peers to see why this money should be spent this way, and then they have to vote. Is that correct?
Yes, they do have a vote, and it's majority, but they kind of want everybody to be on the good side. They want everybody to say, yes, we're going to do this.
It reminds me a little bit at the chamber of the annual project for the leadership class.
Right.
And you want what I call buy-in.
Buy-in.
Lots of good ideas, but it takes all of you to execute. And so, once that idea is selected and voted through, it's sort of like, well, get on board, everybody, isn't it?
Yeah, and they do volunteer work in the community. Last year they did over 480 hours. I know they were at the mystery dinner lately, just recently, and helped set up and tear down. And I got a message from Andy, said they were just awesome kids. So, they do a really good job, whatever they do.
Do you think you're teaching philanthropy at a young age? So important.
I think it is that. And I'm really proud of that because usually at the end of the year, I get notes from kids saying, thank you for being such a great mentor to me. Last year, I sat and read these notes to the kids that sent me or text me, and it was like, I made a difference.
They become kind of like your kids. And I know this because I interviewed our valedictorian and salutatorians last year. And I asked them for a person of influence, not family, but a person of influence in their lives. And two of them said, Doreen, what does that mean?
That it's very emotional when you get those letters and you hear this kind of things because, you don't think you're making a difference, but you really are.
Does Doreen ever put Doreen first? Ever?
Not very often. I'm trying. I am really trying.
You've got these dogs too, don't you?
Oh, I have my 3 puppies, yes.
Oh my goodness. So you work all day and then you go home and you tend to these dogs and they're just a little spoiled.
Oh, they're very spoiled. There's no doubt.
Do you sleep?
Yeah, I sleep really good.
Okay, I'll bet.
Yeah.
Is there ever a time that you can picture yourself retired? I don't see it ever happening.
I actually have had people ask me, it's like, when are you going to retire? Because I really want your job.
What?
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
And I don't have anything in mind right now at all.
But isn't this sort of your dream job?
It is.
Everybody always came to you with all their problems anyway.
Yeah.
And now you have a job that fixes problems.
Yeah, I think it was meant to be.
Really?
Yeah, I feel that.
Okay, so tell me about if there's a potential donor out there. What does the process look like? They've got money. They want to do something impactful. How do they start a conversation with the community foundation?
Well, we sit down with, a couple, a family, and we talk at options. We talk, is it a scholarship that you're interested in? Is it something to do with environmental? Is it something to do with the city? There's so many options you can do, and there's like 9 different places you can go in a different direction for a fund. So we just discuss everything, put it all on the table, and they kind of figure out what's good for them.
Mm-hmm. One fund that comes to mind is the Lakin Fund, and I believe that is directed towards the arts. Is that true?
Yes.
So what a way to memorialize your loved one or someone in the community that you respect by saying they were passionate about art or music or athletics. And so let's throw some money. And can you talk about the parameters that you see sometimes, meaning the donors' rules?
Right. Oh, no, we have a long discussion of the requirements and what their passion is, how they want it to run after they're gone. Is there anything else in there that do you want a child to take over at one of their children to be involved? So we cover everything when we talk about doing an agreement with them.
Okay. How do you, I mean, I know you raise money by people donating money, but it costs money to pay you. I know you've had to bring in clerical help. As you said, improvements to the office, upgrades, computers. Yeah. How does this all get paid for?
On any agreement, there's a admin fee.
Okay.
And most of them are like 1%. Scholarships is 2%. Some of them are 1.5. So that's the admin fee. We never take it out of our grants or our agreements. It only comes from admin fees.
And it doesn't come from the lump sum?
Never.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, that's an impressive number when you compare to other nonprofits, Doreen.
It is.
You're running lean, is my point.
We run very lean.
Mm-hmm. What are community needs that you've identified recently?
You know, it's really funny. It's kind of almost odd that I know people are getting over COVID and they're getting back to work and stuff. I think they're trying to regroup themselves. So I'm not hearing a lot.
Okay.
I have to go out and ask them, you know, what is your need? What are you looking for? What do you need to do now? Because I think they're just trying to regroup and get organized and get back to work.
I think so too. And I think people like having a schedule and they like having structure in their lives. And this whole, I went from my morning pajamas to my night pajamas. You know, we've heard that joke, but I have a girlfriend who goes on these Zoom calls and she throws on, she goes on trips, but then she throws on a scarf and a hat and stuff for her Zoom calls, and she's in Florida. You know, I mean, it's a different world now.
It is. You know, I mean, there was one group that I meet with every month, and we decided to stay at Zoom calls because, you know, it's our driving. We have to drive somewhere. We have to drive back. There's people that come from Misaki over, and it's less time. We can do it right from our office. It's an early morning one, so we usually do it right from our home. But, you know, I think we learned a lot from COVID.
Mm-hmm. Right. And also with our communication skills. I know, you know, when you're on a Zoom call, you've really got to be aware of, you know, body language and, you know, you're not entertaining people, but you need to hold their attention. You really need to be prepared.
Yes.
Whereas in other types of meetings, you know, you can kind of bounce off one another. With Zoom, it to me feels like you really got to be more organized.
You do, because it's not, you're right, the social part of it's totally out of it. You're not just talking, it's business. And you get the business done and then it's done. I know we have a veterans fund with the foundation, and I always have to giggle about this, but with COVID, they, you know, shelter in place, but they ran out of, you know, fuel oil or something that a need for them. Well, I taught a lot of veterans how to take a picture of their DD-214 and send it to me with their cell phone.
You had a little lesson.
Yeah, they all got lessons on how to do this.
But that's overwhelming, that kind of stuff. I mean, technology.
It is. Wow. It is. And they just didn't know how to do it. It's like, I just know how to answer it.
Well, and you know, think about it. People will say, well, do you have this app or that app? I mean, if you don't need to use it, right?
You don't. Yeah, you don't.
You don't need to learn it.
Nope.
And so, but then, until you do. And then you really do. What do you see the foundation doing in terms of a response to the rising cost of fuel and groceries? Because I have a feeling you're going to get some calls on this.
Yeah, we haven't got any lately we haven't really heard of anything that's really pressing need on it.
Okay.
But I think if it comes to that, I just, you know, we're going to have to help. We're going to have to do something.
Mm-hmm. And you're known to be responsive.
Yes, all the calls go right to my cell phone. You know,
really?
If I'm out of the office, because I was in the office by myself for almost, 2 years because of COVID. So everything come right to my cell phone, and I addressed it. Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, New Year's Day, you name it.
Oh boy, do you get tired?
No, I don't, because I think I'm put on this earth to serve, and that's how I serve. So it doesn't bother me at all.
It feels like serving gives you more energy to do more.
It does. It's almost like if I get one of those calls, I'm just like, it's like, okay, I got to take care of this right now. And I just get this ball of energy and it's like, bam, I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm. You do a lot of mentoring, don't you?
I do. Yeah, I have a lot of people that stop by and just want to talk or discuss something that they're doing, which I enjoy that too. Not that I'm always right, maybe, but at least, I can tell them, don't do that, or I wouldn't do that.
But I think in particular with young people, they don't feel judged by you. They
Not
know
at
you're
all.
listening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're there to help.
Yeah, the students, I take a lot of students to Rotary through a junior Rotary program, and they're like, Doreen, can we come back with you? Can we come next week too? They really enjoy it, and we all talk in the car like we're a bunch of kids or something. So, yeah, I enjoy students.
Mm-hmm. Your daughter, Ashley, is she following in your footsteps in terms of serving people?
I think she is. She's actually an advisor for YAC, and I'm going to be gone for a couple days. I'm bringing a friend back from Florida, and she said, oh, don't worry, Mom. I'll do the YAC meeting. I'll take care of everything. I really do believe that she's following my footsteps. She has like 4 jobs.
Uh-huh. How many dogs does she have?
She has 4 dogs and 10 chickens.
More is more
for
Doreen and Ashley. You know, too much is not enough for you 2 girls.
Yeah, she found a kitten on the side of the road and took it home and saved it.
Oh, for crying out loud. Oh, my. Did she do that when she was a child?
She's always hauled animals around with her. Oh, yeah. Her red wagon will be full of dead squirrels. She's like, I don't think it's dead. And it's like, it's dead.
Okay, you mentioned Rotary. I know you've been a leader. You've been president of the club before. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us what's coming up with the Rotary auction. We're interested to know.
Yeah, the Rotary auction, it's going to be so exciting. It's for Habitat. If you've driven by Habitat, you'll see there's a lot of stuff sitting outside. I'm a huge Habitat person because I like to refinish furniture, and then I don't want to sell it because it looks so good. So I ended up giving it away. Yeah. But Habitat, they need this. They need our help to build some structure so things can be put inside and it doesn't look like a garage sale. So I'm really excited about this year.
Okay, so let me understand. So the proceeds from the Rotary auction are going to be used to expand the physical building of Habitat, Restore.
Yes, they're going to be doing some construction and some, renovations to make sure they have room to get things that are outside inside.
Oh my goodness. I didn't even notice that there were things outside.
Oh, there's so many things outside. And when people donate things, it's not like they're donating junk, because they don't take junk. They're donating things that could, another family needs. So they need to be treated, with kindness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I hear you. And I also think that donors, they could get online and sell this stuff, Doreen. So if they're going to donate it, again, they want the recipient to be a good steward of the item.
Right. Yeah.
We were talking to the ladies from Oasis, and they let us know that when Second Chance receives a upper end or upper scale item, that now that's being put out on eBay.
That's great. That's great they're doing that.
And that they've got a man that researches whatever that crystal pattern might be worth.
Oh, that's awesome.
And, as a donor, it's like, awesome. I want this to go to helping people, but I want it to go for as much as possible, too.
That's right. They want to. Spark in the Dark, I don't know how much you know about that, but we had some people that was behind that to put it back in our area. And it's in Wexford, Missaukee County. And it's more like people serving people. So if you have clothes that you're growing out of, or you have children's clothes that they're growing out of, you go on Spark in the Dark, which is a website or a Facebook link, and you can go on there and you can say, hey, I have this size 5 child's jacket, or boots and gloves that go with it. I want to donate them. And then somebody else will answer. It's like, I could really use them. Thank you so much. And we have 18 people on that Facebook page right now, and we have so many people that have given up things for other people to help. Gas cards, baby formula, diapers. I mean, people that are in trouble.
Okay, so let me understand how that works. It isn't just, I've got shoes to give away. Someone else could say, I need X.
That's right. Okay. It could be a need. It's like, I just moved into an apartment and I don't have a lamp. Somebody will come in and say, I have a lamp. I have an extra one. Meet me here or meet me there. Yep.
Oh, that is really
neat. And it's remarkable. It just makes me so happy that these people, are donating these items to help other people.
Mm-hmm. Right. And, when you do get ready to clean out or purge or what do you call it, spring cleaning, that kind of thing, it does take mental consciousness to say, all right, I'm going to release this. I'm going to let it go. And so how wonderful to be able to give it to somebody who needs it.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of baby cribs, car seats that their kids grown out of.
Awesome.
A lot of children's stuff is in there, but there's been the couches and, pots and pans, or somebody's relocating and can't take this and they'll put it on there. So it's really nice. And the people that are on there are very generous, and the other ones are very humble. When they get these items.
And Doreen, it's more than just fulfilling a need. It's showing that person that's in need that people do care. Strangers care. And like you said about this passion that you've got about serving and helping people, that it's a calling to you. Other folks might not have it at your level, but maybe they want to help out a little bit here and there, and in a more maybe controlled situation. Who came up with Spark in the Dark?
Well, actually, Wendy Musselman from Lake City, she just recently passed away. She was one of the donors to it, and she heard about it, and she was very passionate about it, and she came to Pat Goggin and from United Way and myself, and we're like, this is great. Mm-hmm. So then we got the money together to pay for it, and we had it, the Facebook page put up, and it's done really a great job for our community, for Misaki community. I just feel so blessed that these people actually can help each other.
But again, someone had an idea. Who do they bring the idea to? They bring the idea to Doreen and Pat.
Yep. We'll make it happen.
Years later now, look at what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't think probably when you started your journey that you realized how many people you would touch.
I did not have any idea. We get a shipment of bread and juice and milk and rolls from Grand Rapids once a month, and we take them around to all the shelters and stuff. And I think it's like it's not really what we do, but we made a difference. We're going to do this because we're going to help people. We're going to help the needy. And now it's like we had a hotel that their freezer went out, and they brought me 16 cases of Bob Evans breakfast sandwiches. And
what does a person do with 16 cases?
And they're like, we knew that you'd have the answer to where these should go in the need, And so I call the shelters and say, we're bringing you sandwiches.
Okay, true story. I think it was Kathy Balzoate years ago that told me this story, and it's about Shepherd's Table. So someone called Shepherd's Table years ago, and they had 10 cases of hot fudge. I mean, maybe it wasn't exactly 10, but in there. I mean, an outrageous amount of hot fudge. And Kathy, she ran an amazing program.
Oh, she did. Yes.
Oh my goodness. And so, of course, she never said no. And so she said, well, sure, we'll take it. I am not lying, Doreen. The next week, someone called, and guess what they donated? Ice cream.
Oh.
No kidding. So she's like, well, perfect, because we've got hot fudge, It's like with the breakfast sandwiches. Oh, that's crazy. But again, the hotel owner knew to get a hold of Doreen.
That's the thing. You. I get some really strange phone calls too, but
oh, come on, give us an example.
Well, I had a call from another state. It was a lady that her mother lived in Cadillac.
Okay.
And her mother had met somebody online, this gentleman, and this gentleman drove his big Cadillac up here, and he died that night in her bed.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And she called me to find out what to do. How do I get rid of him in his car?
Okay. You're like, well, and I know you well enough to know that you did give her what she needed to do.
I did. I called an attorney and I said, okay, here's the situation. What do I tell this lady? And they said, 911 will pick up the man and then call the state police, and they'll consider it an abandoned car.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
But again, you didn't see that coming.
No.
That wasn't in the Community Foundation training.
No.
Tell me about your board of directors.
Oh, they're wonderful. They are wonderful. I had a board meeting this week on Wednesday night, and we can actually discuss things. It's not like not scared to talk about things, because sometimes they don't realize what a nonprofit, a certain nonprofit is doing. So you really have to explain this money is going to this. This is the need. Mm-hmm. So I'm well rehearsed on everything that I'm going in to ask them for.
Right.
So, they're just very good. They're very passionate. Mm-hmm. If there's need somewhere else, they're like, well, maybe my business can help with that. So they just been great to work with.
They're true leaders.
They are.
And I think, Doreen, that when folks retire off of your board, they're never really done with it because they saw the impact the organization makes. And so they'll forever be loyal to it, is what I hear from friends that have served on your board.
Yeah, and it's a long commitment. It's three-year terms. So I'm with these people for 9 years.
Right.
And I think that's wonderful for somebody to take 9 years to be on a board. Mm-hmm. But we do such great things and help so many people. How could you not want to do it?
Absolutely. And the other thing that I think is nice about your board is you put in the work, you put in the time, you're an A player. So when you come to your board with a request, they know it's been vetted and researched.
Yes, yeah.
I
make sure that I know everything about the situation before I ask them for money.
Mm-hmm. Again, back to being prepared.
Yeah, we have to be prepared. And we're not a handout. We're trying to solve problems. We're trying to make differences in people's lives. So it's really important to know where that money is going and how it's going to be used.
Mm-hmm. Right. If someone wants to donate or get involved with the Cadillac Area Community Foundation, don't give out your cell phone. What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Oh, they can call 231-775-9911, and it goes right to my cell phone.
Okay. And then you also have a webpage or a Facebook
We
page.
do.
Okay.
Yeah. It's CadillacFoundation.org. You can go on there and contact us through there, or just stop by the office or give me a ring and we'll have coffee.
Oh, I love it. Folks, if you've ever been around Doreen Lanc, there's light emanating from her body. There's an aura about this woman of pure goodness. So thank you so much for the work that you do, the passion that you have for helping people in the Cadillac area. Don't bet against this lady ever, folks. And if you've never met her, stop by her office for coffee. This has been Cadillac Unscripted with the Executive Director of the Cadillac Area Community Foundation, Doreen Lanc. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Katy.